Assalamu alaikum ji. My name is Mohammad Usman. You are watching Epic Roots. Today I am with another podcast. I have a very amazing guest with me, Miss Rafiat Majid Balogon. She is a HR professional, and today we are going to talk about the different things, the different aspects of the HR professional and the culture and the challenges the women are facing in Nigeria and on the workplace. We are going to talk about. So let's get into it. So first of all, Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa
So my
rahmatullahi
first
wa
question:
barakatuh.
who is Rafiat Majid Balogon?
Thank you very much. It's such
Welcome.
a pleasure and an opportunity to be on this podcast with you, Mr. Mohammed Javed. So, Rafiat Majid Balogun is an HR professional. This is going to be my 6 years in HR, and the journey has been a very beautiful and amazing one. Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen. Thank
Okay,
you.
so I just want to know about your career in the education field, when you started, in which university, and all the things. Can you share with us about your education
Okay.
and how you started this professional career journey?
Okay, thank you so much. So, educationally, interestingly, my parents are teachers.
Okay.
Yes, so there's this very strong educational culture and background in the family. I can remember that when I was as little as maybe 2 years, I had already started to know, the alphabet and the letters because my mom is someone who will teach you all of. When you wake up in the morning, she will teach you. So I grew up from a background of a family that prides education and has always told us that you need to learn, you need to grow, you need to add more knowledge to yourself. I had my secondary education in a boarding house. It's in Lagos, the Queen's College, Yaba, Lagos. And then my university was in a state university here, Labis Yonabanjo University, where I studied mass communication. So for me, the first career path was not always HR.
Okay.
I wanted to bring broadcasting. I had a very promising career being a radio, a TV presenter based off on the way that I speak.
Yeah, I saw some videos on your Instagram.
Yes. So I used to really love that. I used to really love expressing myself through mass communication and media. But however, after my national youth service here in Nigeria, when you're done with your university, you have to serve the country and the government for 1 year.
Okay.
So after
So
that,
it's for everybody?
everybody.
Okay.
Everybody.
So what type of services you have to provide to the government?
Okay, so it's very interesting. Usually, if you have your university in one state and you register, the government will post you to another state, a state where you're not used to.
Okay.
So I had my university in Ogun State. I was posted to Cross River State.
Okay, they will not post you on the same state.
They will not post you on the same state.
Like they are also observing that you have to go in another culture.
So they're trying to ensure that Nigerian youths are multicultural and you can go to learn the behaviors, the culture, the tribes, the language, the beauty of other cultures. So in itself, the government is very intentional with that scheme and it's just a way of helping that unity in diversity of the Nigerian culture and place. So I had mine in Cross River. I'd never been there before. It was a totally strange land.
Okay.
Usually you'd have 3 weeks orientation camp. There you get to wake up very early. You get to do some tasks. You get to march on the fields. You have
some
soldiers.
Assessments.
Yes, you'd have soldiers teach you some drills, very serious drills, like you're going to war. So it was quite challenging because most of us are not used to that kind of life, but it also helped us to know that we were truly, it helped us to redeem ourselves as proud Nigerians. And it helped me to understand that, oh, really, Nigeria is my country. I am proud to be a Nigerian.
Okay.
I'm proud to serve my country. And whatever happens, I need to give back to my country. So that 3 weeks was quite stretchy, but Alhamdulillah, we're able to pull through. And then I got posted to a newspaper house.
Okay.
Where I got to serve for about few months, but there was really nothing to do there. And being someone who is eager and passionate to learn, I spoke to someone that I really wanted to serve. I just didn't want to come waste my 1 year sleeping and eating and waking up. So I got to another place in a radio house. There, I really, really got to learn a lot about my mass communication.
Okay.
I got to.
That's why your communication is.
Yes, yes. I got
Okay.
to do lots of podcasts. I got to do lots
Okay.
of videos. I got
Hmm.
to do lots of journalism. I got to go to different
You have a
places.
more experience. Okay.
Yeah, so it was very good. I really
Mm.
wanted to turn that into a full-fledged profession
Mm.
at the time. Either I go into full journalism or I go into broadcasting. But Allah Alam, as I came back to Lagos after the 1 year, I wasn't really finding lots of opportunities in that area.
Okay.
And of course, I have a family to take care of. I have
Yes,
myself
obviously,
to take
obviously.
care of. So I needed to think of the next plan, plan B. And I started off, I got a first job as a front desk officer in Right Foods Limited at the head office in Lagos.
Okay.
And so there, I knew that I was going to enjoy what I was doing. It was a natural place for me. I just
Okay.
got to welcome customers to the company, told them about what the company had to offer, and ensure that they got the very best experience while they were within the company's environment. And I'm naturally good at that. So it was really an easy walk in the park for me. But like I said, I have a background of, family and parents who will tell you you can do more. They kept pushing me. So I knew that I could do more than that. I just didn't want to start and end my career at the front desk. And Alhamdulillah, I had line managers who were very, very intentional. And I was at the front desk, I was also in the HR department. So through the meetings, I started to learn a little about HR and said, okay, this is a profession I'd like to do. So I started to take courses, certifications. I was on Udemy, I was on Allison, I was on Coursera. Okay. All the courses I needed to take to really understand HR, I was doing all of that while still at the front desk. So any free time I have, I take my courses. I got certified in HR. There's also a professional body called CIPM here in Nigeria that young HR professionals would need to take some courses and assessments, and that would help you really understand what the profession was about. So I enrolled in that. It was not easy. I had to save all my money and salary, but I did it because I knew that it was going to pay off eventually. Okay. So I took those courses. I did that for about 2 years, and Alhamdulillah, I eventually got certified. So when there was an opening here at the factory in Ososa, my line manager said, "Oh, I believe that you would do so well because you have the natural personality, yes, and you also have gone through the theoretical knowledge through the courses that you've gotten. So it's time to now practice. It's time to have the practical experience." And so I took that sacrifice and that journey. I left Lagos, my comfort zone, where my family was, and I came down here to the factory. I didn't know anybody here, but I felt life is a journey. Okay, so I needed
any specific inspiration in
Yeah.
the HR? Why HR?
Okay, so the truth is, while I was at the front desk, that I wanted to understand what else I could do because broadcasting was not coming my way easily.
Okay.
So I had the choice to make in two career paths actually. One was HR and one was marketing. So by virtue of me understanding myself, understanding my strengths, I knew that I could thrive in both courses. But what sharpened HR more than marketing for me, like I said, was because I had line managers and I had people who I could see them do HR and I loved their personality. One very interesting person then was the head of HR, was Dr. Kehinde Onijigi. He was the one who had my interview. And I just
same mine too.
Yes, I just loved the way he spoke to me at the interview. I loved the way he attended to me. I loved how he made me feel. I loved
even I remember that questions
that
he asked in that interview, and I will remember in my whole life maybe because that questions were really really nice questions.
Exactly.
Yes, I was really enjoying to
talk.
response it and talk about that things.
So you're used to them telling you, oh, HR is very strict. HR is this, HR is that. But I felt genuinely like I was talking to a friend. I was just sharing and I was listening and I was sharing. Okay, I think I would like to learn more about the
Okay.
career this man is doing.
Mm.
So he was the very first inspiration, and that was
Okay.
very from my first interview with him. And so I got more interested in HR because of him, and I started to take the courses, and I just felt okay. I think I'll just love to start a career path in HR generally.
Okay. Any sacrifices you have made for your career?
Oh, a lot.
A lot.
A lot.
Like
A
first,
lot.
first is that you are far from your family.
Exactly. The very first was that the very first even was as at that time in 2020, that was immediately after COVID. People were
Okay.
still coming a little bit out of COVID. So things economically was not booming.
Yes.
And I was earning a very
We are
little
coming up with the new
salary.
norms.
Exactly. I was earning a very little salary. It was challenging even transporting myself. People still were still scared about coming out, infection and all of that. So at that time, taking courses, I had to save up. I had to save almost half of my salary. So I had to stretch myself. I was also living with some of my friends because Lagos, I didn't have my family was not close to that area.
Okay.
Then also moving down here to the factory, I didn't know anybody. I had to start a new life over here. There were days that I would wake up by 5 a.m. I would get to the office by 8. I would leave the office by 5 and I would read till 12 or 2, still wake up again by 5. So all of those things, it wasn't easy, but I had to do it. I understood that it was a journey. And I
Okay.
understood that, inshallah, at the end of it, I would smile. And alhamdulillah.
Yes, it's fine. So let me know about the cultures
Okay.
and women are facing the issues, the challenges here in the Nigeria. Share something about the challenges women are facing here.
Okay, well, women face lots of challenges. The very first is that people don't even believe that women should be in the workplace. You still have culturally in Nigeria, it is believed that the woman should be in the house, the woman should be in the kitchen, the woman should
Same
take
in Nigeria.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
I did not see that.
Oh,
I was
it
not.
is.
I was not expecting this.
It is
Because the way women are going out, women are working, where women are in the different fields. So it's not shows like this.
In the very cultural way of Nigeria, the woman is seen
the
to
basics
be in
of
the
their
home.
cultures.
Yes, the woman should be
Should
in the
be
home,
in the home. Okay.
taking care of the family and the home.
Even they are Muslim, even they are Christian.
Muslim, Christian, every tradition.
Really, it's new thing for me.
Every tradition, but because of the way the world has now evolved, right? They became to have people started to have that understanding and orientation that the man cannot do it all. The woman also needs to support, and even aside from supporting, the woman is also a human. She also has dreams. She has goals. She has vision of what she wants to achieve. The woman can get to the highest level that any man can also get to. So natural challenges that you'd have is the very first is some people are still cultural in their mindset, even at the workplace. And so when you see a woman on the same level with them, they feel, who is she? What does she even know? What can she have to offer? And then they start to compare you with their wives or their sisters. You should be in the house. So even when you're having meetings on the table, they still see a woman as what does she know? What should she offer? She shouldn't even be on this table in the first place. Well, alhamdulillah, the narrative is changing. So we have more men who understand the importance of women, who understand that women bring a different spice and a different ingredient to the workplace. They add more life, they add more fulfillment, they add more joy, they make coming to work more easy, they make you feel more genuinely happy. So all of those things are changing now, alhamdulillah.
Okay, is there any gender-based challenges women are facing on the workplace?
Well, it depends on the job role for being an HR person. I have to be very honest. In some other fields, like maybe tech, banking, medicine, you might not have such challenges because it's based off on your skills. But in the manufacturing setting that we are, at times you find out that some jobs are still mostly always, in fact, you naturally even have more men going to that
Okay.
field. Maybe in the engineering field, for instance,
Yes.
how many women do you even have who are studying engineering? So naturally you'd find more men in that field. But when you now have a woman who wants to come, it is very, very difficult for her to break through, because people naturally believe that that field is only for the men. And
Okay.
when a woman is there, they will ask you, what does she know? What can she do? So the woman has to do extra.
Extra.
She needs to do extra to make them believe that she has as much same skills.
She has
and
the potential,
understanding
same skills.
exactly as the men have. For HR, I won't say they are quite. In fact, you even have more women in HR
Yes, yes,
than
yes,
than
yes.
men. So yeah, those are some of the
So,
challenges.
what are the some essential skills for being a better HR professional?
Okay.
Share some essential skills.
Okay, I think for me, quite naturally, the very first one is beyond the fact that you need to understand, you need to have passion. There has to be that natural passion. HR is the center that connects the people and the organization, while in the middle, and there has to be that handshake. So HR understands the business, HR understands the people, and HR merges them together. So the very first is that you need to have empathy. You need to have empathy. You need to be willing to understand people. People are genuinely different. And people are different based off from their background, their experience, their culture, their tradition, their religion. So you need to be able to understand that the way I would relate with you
Yes.
is completely different from how I would relate to another person. So there has to be that listening skill, there has to be that empathy, there has to be that genuineness to really understand your concern and see how I can prefer solutions to you. I feel like beyond all of the practical and theoretical things that HR needs to know, the people side of HR is very important. And oftentimes that is where you see HR professionals lacking, right? Because they believe, oh, I need to be strict. It is only when I am strict I can communicate the policies.
Yes.
It is only when I am strict that people would understand that I am doing. But no, I can communicate the policies of the organization to you in a very natural way, in a very genuine way. And even though I am saying no to you, you understand why I am saying no. That it is for the business and it's also for you.
Okay. So, how a woman be a good leader than man?
Oh, okay. I think that's a very interesting one. Um, one thing I've always known, and one thing that I know that I'm going to also implement when I get my family, inshallah. If you notice, women are actually the secret leaders, even in the home. My mom, I know that most of the things my father would do, that it come off as, oh, he's the one doing it. He wouldn't do it without listening to my mom. He wouldn't do it without sharing it with her, understanding her point of view, and then coming to the forefront. So the mothers are always the one at the back end who is actually leading the home, who is driving the home. So I think if we can look at it from that mindset, when you have women on the leadership table, they bring that genuineness, they bring that passion, they bring their natural leadership self into leading. And then when you have that, you have someone who is not just leading because she's bossy, who is not just leading because of the money, who is not just leading because of what she stands to gain, but someone who is really passionate, because it is a natural self to lead. It's a natural self to care for people. And that way you have the best leaders as women, inshallah.
What is the inspiring thing in the Nigerian culture for the woman?
Inspiring thing in the Nigerian culture.
Yes.
Okay, I think for us, the very first is that women feel challenged.
Okay.
You know, like I told you.
I think this is everywhere.
Yes, yes. Women feel challenged, and they want to prove that narrative that I can actually be more. I can actually do more. So where you feel that the men will thrive, I can go there and I can thrive much more. So that for one is the very first inspiration. Every girl child wants to wants to prove herself. She wants to prove to the world that even though you think the men can do it, I can do it, and I can do it even much more than that. So that's the very first one. The second inspiration usually would come from your background. It will come from your family. When you look at where you're coming from and you want to be a better person for yourself,
Yes.
so all of those natural inspiration comes and you see a woman child being the very best of what she can be. So also your environment also helps you to want to be the very best and to want to open up the natural things that Allah has given to you. Also people, you cannot take
Yes.
away the impact of people. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, for the people that I have met all over my life, they have helped shape me. They have helped me to want to be a better person. So the people you move around with, they can serve as guides, they can serve as mentors, they can serve as career professionals who would help shape you. And even now, these days, you don't even need to have a mentor physically. The world is gone social. You can see how people are living their lives on social media, and you want to embody that kind of lifestyle. And so you look up to them and all of so all of these
Yes.
things are things I feel
So
can
if
help.
you will get a chance to start your career again, so how you will come up with the same HR professional or with a different field?
Okay, I'm still. I always still tell people that I'm still going to broadcasting. I know that I'm still going to do it. HR, Alhamdulillah, started off because I really wanted to have a professional career,
Yes.
and I'm going to do this. I'm going to get to the very highest top in HR. Maybe I'm going to become a chief operating officer. I'm going to become a chief people and culture director someday.
Yes.
Alhamdulillah, when I get there and I look back and see the value and the lives that I have been able to touch,
Yes.
inshallah, I will still take a pause and I still want to go back to broadcasting. I love to be at the forefront where I'm communicating value. And I believe that at that time I will have learned a lot of things that I can also teach the younger folks that are coming on board. So I don't think I would change anything about my life.
Okay.
I feel that Allah has beautifully carted
Yes,
how I have,
planned
how I've
everything
lived
for you.
exactly. That natural background in broadcasting, Alhamdulillah, gave me the communication strength that I have.
Yes.
So now I can face anybody and I can speak boldly.
Yes.
So that broadcasting background gave me that, Alhamdulillah.
Yes.
And now that professional HR career has helped me to sharpen that communication strength. So,
share your experience about the right foods. You have spent
okay.
6 years here, and what about the right foods, unique culture? What is the difference from the other companies? Share with us.
Okay, so Alhamdulillah, Right Foods has been a very amazing time for me. I must confess that if I look back at my journey, I'd say I'm truly blessed. I'm blessed because I believe that the people who I met, they really helped me to grow. They helped
Yes.
me to thrive. You know, not everyone sadly has that opportunity.
Yes.
Some people meet other people and they don't really allow them to be themselves. But alhamdulillah, even from while I was at the front desk, I had the line manager who would tell me, communicate in the best way possible, communicate in the way you believe is best. So she was not telling me do it this exact same way. She wanted me to bring out my natural self.
Yes.
And because she gave me that freedom to express myself, it helped me to open up hidden things and hidden
Yes.
potentials that I have. And I'd say that it's because of that freedom that I started to get noticed, even by the management. And I was like, okay, this lady can do much more than what she's doing. Alhamdulillah, I got into HR and I got to meet amazing people like Dr. Kehinde Onichiki, who I said is my mentor, and
Yes.
also very, 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 very dear to my heart, Mr. Ismail.
Mr. Ismail.
Yes.
Your favorite boss.
My favorite boss, my boss for life, like I call him. So
Okay.
he also gave me that pathway to learn. I'd say that everything I know in HR today is based off on these two people, Dr. and Mr. Ismail. I learned the same manual that they had. I learned it step by step from them.
Yes.
I made mistakes, they corrected me. They allowed me to make mistakes and they corrected me. They gave me the blueprint to what HR truly was. And they still allowed me to be my natural self. They still allowed me to communicate with people. They still gave me those opportunities to always be at the forefront. So they tell me, yes, you're doing your job, but any other I am extracurricular committee. Like I joined the Right Value Committee. I was in different engagements because they
Yes.
wanted me to bring out my natural self and
Yes.
thrive.
You would like to share some mistakes that make you more efficient and more perfect.
Oh, okay. There are a lot of them. I know there are times,
Maybe you
say
can
for
maybe you
example.
can share one or two.
Okay, yes, I'm trying to actually look, think of the
So
one
think
that is
about my mistakes
the one that is
that
best.
I have made.
Yes, that is
Okay.
best to share. I can remember there was a time. One interesting mistake was there was a time when we were to recruit for a particular role, and it was supposed to be in a way secretive. But because I was still learning, I was eager to fill
Okay.
the role as soon as possible. I didn't know it was secretive. I didn't get that manual. So I publicized the role.
Okay.
That was a very big error. Wallahi, it was a very big error. And so immediately it was publicized. It was on a weekend. I was trying to do extra work. So I did that during the weekend. And then on Monday, when my boss came, Rafiat,
What you did
what
this?
did you do? Why did you do this?
Okay.
You know, and I started to explain, said, okay, okay, just calm down. Don't even explain for now. Let's fix the problem.
Yes.
That is the very first thing you do as a professional.
Mm.
Take accountability. I owned up that that was a mistake that I did.
Yes.
And I immediately tried to think of what to do to fix the problem. It was after the problem was fixed that we now got to sit. So he called me to his office. That was doctor actually. He called me and said, okay, so why did you do it? And when I explained that I was just trying to do extra hours of work during the weekend so that we could achieve more during the week, he told me, I understand what you're trying to do, but also at times before taking a decision, think of all of the elements.
Yes.
So you were trying to do something good, but it turned out bad. So think of all of the elements, ensure that you connect with all of the people,
consider all the aspects.
consider all of the options before taking that decision. Because right now, as you're growing in your career, you would make a lot of decisions.
Yes.
And whatever decision you make can either make or mar a lot of things. So ensure that you consider all the options available.
You know, when we are growing, we have a lot of energy inside.
Exactly.
We want to just make it up. Yes, now we have to do everything. So that's why sometimes we are doing like that. But mistakes are not bad, but we should not repeat it again.
Exactly.
So, how you are managing your work-life balance?
Okay, work-life balance, interesting. Because as you know, as a professional, you have to juggle a lot of things together.
Yes.
I think for me, I subscribe more to the principle of work-life integration. Why do I say that? Because you cannot take away your work from your life. I understand that yes, you have family, you have commitment, but your work is also commitment. And the truth is, the funds you get from the work is what helps you to be a better family member. And also, I see it as integrating it. Yes, you maybe go to office 8 to 5, but if you need to still send a mail or do something by 7 or 8, you won't say you won't do it. You'd still do it as much as possible.
Yes.
If it is what is urgent and very important. So for me, I just try to ensure that in the week I make out time for my family. I call my mom. I ensure that she's doing very well. If she needs me to maybe come home during the weekends, I make sure that I do that. And if I'm there, I'm fully there. So whenever I'm with my family, in a way, I take off the work. But it doesn't also mean that if a call from work comes in, I would not pick it up. So that's what I'm trying to say. You integrate both of them together. Yes, you give specific time for work and specific time for family. But if you're with family and work duty calls and it's something that you really need to do, you still also need to do it. So I just try to ensure that there is a unique blend of everything. I'm there, I'm present with my family, and I'm also there, I'm present for my work.
So you are working with different expats. So share your experience with the Pakistani people.
Okay, the truth.
Don't share the good things.
Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah. I'd say that I've met very amazing people so far. Everyone is different and unique in their own way, like I said. So, but you can also be quite difficult, to be very honest. You can also be quite difficult, and maybe because you're coming to a new place, You're
Yes.
coming to a new country, so it's common that maybe you have some expectations that are not met, and as HR at times you have to make you understand that, okay, I know you had these expectations. We're sorry that we cannot fulfill all, but at least we can do this, and this within our means. So I just think that even though you can be difficult, it's just a way of finding the middle ground between both. And Alhamdulillah, we've been able to have a very good,
Okay.
relationship
So,
so far.
so you learn something about the Pakistani languages, like some words. Can you share with us?
Okay, so there might be funny words.
No
I
problem.
don't know.
No problem.
I know that.
You can speak up. No problem.
I know that I have a friend who calls me Tree,
Okay.
and I think I was told Chewy is rats or something.
Yes.
And because he called me Tree, I asked someone, what can I call him? I told me to call him Kota.
And she was repeating every time. Whenever someone is like saying "chui chui," she was happy that maybe it's a good word.
I didn't
Then
know.
I explained her that this word is the meaning of this.
Yes, I didn't know that they were calling me a rat, and I was laughing. Ha ha ha. So
So
alhamdulillah.
any other words?
What else have I learned? I think those are the only ones that I can remember. Okay, we call someone Chima.
Chima, yeah.
Aha, we call him Chima. So yes, I think.
Which is your favorite dish?
Oh, definitely it's the biryani, which you
Yes.
always, of course, very big for. It's
And
always
the other thing is that
gulab jamun.
gulab jamun.
Gulab
Okay.
jamun. That ball
So
is
you loved
so
both
delicious.
dishes,
I
gulab
love both
jamun and
dishes.
biryani. You know, biryani
Yes.
is famous in Pakistan. Also, everyone
Yes.
is likes to
Taking
eat.
that, yes,
Yes.
yes. Thank you.
One thing people don't know about you.
I mean, people don't know that as much as I can be very lively, talky, and come off as this natural person who is always smiley and all, I can also be very quiet. I can also be very shy, right?
You're shy?
Yes,
Really?
like, I can be very shy. So when I meet someone that I've never met before, and I don't know how to gauge them, I could be very shy in how to communicate with them. But until I understand them, that's when I become my natural self. So Rafiat can also be very shy at times.
Okay. One word your colleagues describe you.
Kind. Kind, yes. I think
Okay.
most of the farewell messages that I got, one thing that stood out was that I was very kind. Another one was that I always try to listen to people, and I think for me, I'm very proud that I do that, and inshallah, I still want to continue as much as possible.
Okay, you want to share some messages about the other people's, about the colleagues of the right foods?
Okay.
Any advice, any message to the right food?
Okay. Right Foods has been my home. Right Foods has been my foundation. And Alhamdulillah, I know that I would look back and I'd always be glad that I started my journey in Right Food, because it was really challenging, but it was also a very beautiful one. I got to learn, I got to grow, I got to add value to the company, and the company added value to me. So I think my advice would be that the very first is believe in yourself, right?
Yes.
Know what you want to achieve and believe that you can achieve it. And even though people might not immediately start to see what you're doing, they will eventually do it. I also did not start off with people liking me or people believing in me, but I had to show them what I had for them to believe in me. So people often say that, oh, the system is not promoting me, this is not happening, but have you showed the system what you have?
Yes.
Of value.
Values you can add in the system.
Exactly, that you can add to the system. So that's the question that we all need to ask ourselves, because everybody wants to appreciate value. So when they see the value in you, then definitely the reward, the recognition, and everything that you want would definitely, it might not come at the time you want it,
Yes.
but it will definitely come. So I'd want to advise that people should very first believe in themselves, know what they want to offer to the company, and grow themselves. I didn't sit down and say, oh, the company must train me. I want to do a career in HR, so the company must give me all the trainings I need. No. I did research. I asked questions. I met people. What can I do? How can I learn? I took lots of courses on my own. I paid for the money on my own, tens of thousands of naira. I took that sacrifice. So everyone needs to be ready and willing to sacrifice some things for
Yes.
yourself. Because inshallah, by the time you've gone through all of that and you've paid the price, you've paid the dues, and you now have value, then millions would then follow. So don't start eventually at the beginning looking for money. Start with on gathering knowledge, start with building your skills, start with sharpening your experiences. And by the time you've gotten all of that, then the money will chase after you.
So, what's inspired you the most? This money, work culture, environment,
I think for me,
passion?
what inspires me the most is that genuineness to just help people. I tell myself every day that I am value. I wake up every morning, I look at myself in the mirror and I say, Rafia Majid Balogun, you are value. You're going to add value to yourself and you're going to add value to people. So because I tell myself that every day, I go to work every day saying that I must add value to someone's life, right? And so that inspires me. It's because truly the money would not be the value.
Yes.
The culture would not be the value. The people would not be the value. But if you yourself genuinely want to add value to people's life, then when people come to you, you would listen to them. When people
Yes.
come to you, you'll be genuine with them. When people come to you, you would understand their problems and you'd see how you can contribute
Yes.
to that. So I know the money would come, definitely. And also, when you add value to people, you change their perception, you change their orientation. If that person was not living the right culture, the person would gradually start to do it. I always believe that culture cannot be changed in one day. It's a gradual thing. But people would also change themselves when they see that you also have the right value
Yes.
to change. So Alhamdulillah, that's what
So
inspires me.
thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much
you.
for your all the efforts for the right food. I hope
Thank
you
you.
will remember us. You will remember right foods, and you
will.
will enjoy.
I will.
We really pray. We will pray for you. So
Thank you.
it was a very insightful conversation with Mr. Rafiat Balogon. So we really appreciate. We pray for the success of Ms. Rafiat. So inshallah, we will come up with the next podcast with a different person, with a different people, same like this intelligent lady. Thank you. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.